Hey guys, it's Jennifer. Thanks for joining us here today on the CryptoWave podcast, where we deliver the latest trends, news, and people that are making waves in crypto. I'm joined here today with my co-hosts Jesse and Joey, and we're going to be talking about what the Fed's doing, what the market's doing, what investors are doing, and Joey will ask his question of the week.
That was great.
Nice.
Bravo.
Nice and smooth, like we've done this before.
I am so impressed. All right, I already feel like it's going to be a great show, but let's first talk about your amazing weekend. You went out of town. You left us, Joey and I, to just spin in circles up here and miss you and think, what crazy fun is she having?
She's kept sending pictures.
I know. And she's like, look at this famous guy. Look at this famous guy.
I was rubbing elbows with the elite.
Yeah, I'm saying. Remind us, if nobody caught the last episode, what was the event, and
so
how was it?
The event was the Rebel Capitalist live show, and it was hosted by George Gammon, and he has a YouTube channel, Rebel Capitalist. And there were many speakers there, from Lynette Zhang, Robert Breedlove. He spoke about crypto and Bitcoin. Lynn Alden, she also spoke about macro and Bitcoin. Mark Moss, he's a big hard money advocate. Robert Kiyosaki was one of the main speakers that I was most excited to see. So I got to
love that
meet
guy.
him.
Yeah.
Yes, the author of Rich
You
Dad.
know who he is. I love the guy. I just heard about him 5 minutes before the show.
So Robert Kiyosaki, for those of you who don't know, is the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah.
So it's a must read. The book, write that down, Joey.
Yes.
Write that down. Yes. So that's the book that, changed my life, changed my mindset. And the tone of the entire event was really inflation. There were Brent Johnson was there talking about deflation, precious metals. So basically ways that you can hedge and prepare for this currency reset that we are currently in. Yes.
Define currency reset. I mean, to all these personalities that you saw over the weekend, what is their definition of a currency reset?
So over throughout history, we've had many different currencies.
Right.
From the 1400s. There's been from the beginning of time, we've traded things as a medium of exchange,
Right.
and we've had many different currencies, and they go on cycles, so they'll last anywhere from 80 years to 100 years. So for the US dollar being the reserve currency, we're at 101 years. So these cycles are coming into alignment now that it's time for a change. So basically, every currency that has ever been revalued has been revalued back to gold. So the tone of the event was buy gold and silver and Bitcoin. To hedge against inflation.
Excuse me.
I read that, as Jesse's choking, I read that just the other day, how a lot of these, and we're going to be talking about it in just a little bit, a lot of these brokers and financial folk are looking more and more into the gold and the silver and adding Bitcoin to your portfolio. One of them said 555, and then they don't know what to do with their regular stocks because they don't know what the hell is going to happen in the next couple of years with what we have going on. We might be trading wampum again.
A what?
A wampum.
A wampum.
Or a whopper. It might be
whopper.
easier. It might be easier.
Well, that brings us into our first bit of news. Investors continue to make bullish comments on cryptocurrencies. So you may be referring to Paul Tudor Jones, who says, go all in on inflation trades. So Paul Tudor Jones is a renowned hedge fund manager. He manages, I believe, $8 billion in assets. So,
That's all?
Yeah.
Must be nice.
just $8 billion.
What's his commission?
Well, he allocated 1% of his portfolio to Bitcoin, and he's now changing that and reallocating 5% of funds to his Bitcoin position. But he said, pay attention to the Fed meeting that we had today to see what Jerome Powell says about inflation. So if Powell gives the green light that and tries to downplay inflation, that it's transitory, then that is a signal to do the opposite. So go all in on inflation trades.
Well, and who's this guy?
Paul Tudor Jones. He's a famous hedge fund manager.
No, and then the Powell guy.
Oh, Jerome Powell. He's
Head
the
of the
federal.
Fed.
He's the
Reserve.
the Federal Reserve
Okay.
chairman. Yep.
I just want to make sure we define all these positions because
Yes.
that's a big news. If the Fed Reserve chairman says, "Yeah, everything's fine," downplaying inflation, like no, keep putting your money in the bank and all that other stuff. That's dangerous talk.
Well, yeah, if you look at what he's been saying, he also said part of it is because of the unemployment situation and this COVID,
Yeah.
that it's we're in transition and that once everybody goes back to work, but everything's still gone up. Our gas prices have gone up. Our food costs have gone up. So you're naturally going to have a built-in inflation on that, correct? I mean, I'm
Yeah,
not a...
and not for nothing. I'm not sure how true TikTok is and some of these other social medias, but
So true.
people are walking to Walmarts and there's no meat. Like the meat displays are vacant. Like I mean, things are just bad. We
Yes,
have
that's
plastic
a
and
supply chain
Yeah.
issue. Mhm.
right. So and that's maybe from also the ransomware, right?
No cows are working.
Right.
Right
No
now.
cows are working. They're
Well,
on
it's
strike.
green energy
Nobody-
not to have cows because cows are no good anymore.
Well, and a lot of farming practices are unsustainable, but the fact is that right now we're getting ransomware. We're getting some of this both oil and now meat suppliers and all the others are getting hacked.
It's Russia.
And we don't know who to blame, and we're not trying to speculate on the show. But what we can say is that what's funny is ransomware. These hackers are taking cryptocurrency
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
exchange to like, okay, I'll open up your business back up, but first I need an untraceable type of currency. And so and we talked about this pre-show. People have been using crypto because you're able to be a little bit of anonymous. There's a little bit of that. Again, to a certain point, we were speaking on behalf of like ATMs and other means of being able to get your crypto or get crypto sent to you anonymously as just a autonomous being, not really with an identity. So, and then it's funny with the pipeline where somehow the federal government was able to recover
Half.
Yes.
some of the
Half.
ransomware.
They got
So they
half.
were able.
But why not the whole thing?
They were able to
Anyway.
recover, and it's very interesting because
Yeah.
nobody is quite clear. I mean, it was the FBI or the CIA, so they don't want you to know how
Right.
they did it. But it puts uncertainty in the crypto market because
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, how were they able to intercept it? Then we don't know. They're not telling us.
Right,
Interesting.
because if somebody's able to, whatever it is, that ledger or whatever that piece of information that they were able to track, well, that's not good for the normal guy like us, who want to be maybe a little more autonomous or not want to have our crypto tracked or even recovered because of something else. I mean, and this all goes back to the promise of crypto is that you could be autonomous, you could buy over from border to border without having to deal with currency exchange rates and all those other things. It is what it is, from India to China to Americas. But getting back to the inflation part, so this hedge manager is getting 5%. He believes that there is inflation, and that's the biggest topic today because we all see it at the gas prices, at the food and grocery market. What used to fill up your grocery cart was like $70. Now it's like almost $200. And so even just in a couple years, we're seeing the cost of food just go, and it's just going to get worse.
Yes, so CPI was released last week at 4.9%. So they try to keep it around 2%. So today, the Federal Reserve concluded with higher expectations for inflation in 2021, along with earlier timeframes for interest rate hikes. So institutions and hedge funds are willing to increase exposure in the crypto market. So a survey was conducted with 100 hedge fund CFOs, and they showed that they're expecting a 7% allocation of crypto in the next 1 to 5 years. So that will equal around $312 billion across the sector.
The only question I have to ask is where are they taking? Well, like what 7% do they have invested right now? And take it? I mean, are they selling property to reallocate that money? Or are they just raising another 7% on top of their portfolio just to dedicate to crypto? So I'm curious. They have to sell something in order to buy something else, unless they're, again, just fundraising and just getting more and more money into the fund in order just to make that purchase while keeping the remaining portfolio untouched.
Well, I mean, speculation, but the
Right.
bond market, the treasury market, they sell bonds and go into inflation hedges.
So when inflation goes up, precious metals
Go up.
Right? Because when the dollar
Right.
shrinks, people want to
Buy gold.
buy
and
gold.
silver.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when we talk about that, for instance, this weekend, I want to keep going back to this weekend and what you learned. What ways do you buy gold, silver? I mean, are we talking like coins? Are we talking about bullion? Are we talking about just the gold and silver, like commodity markets?
Yes. Well, Lynette Zhang was a keynote speaker, and she really advocated for physical. You want to
Wow.
buy physical gold, physical silver. You want to have coins to be able to transact with. You can buy antiques as well, something that you'll be able to store, and then also, ways to protect yourself as well. Bullets and
Bullets.
Ammo.
ammo. Yes,
Ammo's
and-
not cheap right now.
No, it's hard to find too.
Yeah, because if you're storing your own wealth in your home, or you have to have a recovery
Under the mattress.
plan. Yes, but you have to be able to protect
Is
yourself.
that where you keep yours?
Yeah, a whole $1.50. Sure, come and get it.
So where do you find these coins? And I hate asking this question because I feel like now the infomercial is going to come in. Oh, well, you just go to 800, 441 gold.
Yeah.
And buy from, and it's like.
I think the site is actually called www.sdbullion.com.
Oh, is that right? So they all have like an in, like, oh, you want to hedge this, and just so you know, I'm also
But right
an
now-
affiliate, so everything you buy, I get a piece of.
Right now, the precious metals market is, there's a great demand for it, and they're out of stock. So, but the prices are not reflecting that, because if the prices of precious metals were increasing, then that would be kind of a signal to the market that something's going on. So the prices right now, at least in the paper market, are being suppressed.
What I've heard, though, is gold will be from 18. I mean, I think it's been like at 16, 17 for the longest time, but they're talking about 2200
Yeah.
announced by the end of the year. But they're also talking about Bitcoin being 100,000.
Yeah, according to the stock to
yeah.
flow model, Bitcoin should be at 100,000 right now.
Not for nothing, but McAfee's been, the famous McAfee.
Yeah.
He's been talking about Bitcoin being 100,000 last year. So one of these years he's going to get it right.
Gold right now
Yeah.
is at $1,811.31.
Right.
And it's up $47. Oh, no, it's down $47.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I think the market, after Jerome Powell spoke today,
Right.
went down a little bit.
Gotcha.
because it was at 16 for a while.
Right.
You're right.
Yeah, so for the longest time, precious metals, again, you don't really need physical gold. I mean, you really can't exchange it. You can't walk into a bank and be like, here's $1,800 an ounce. They're going to look at you and go, what are you doing? Like, yeah.
I got a guy.
So how do you spend it?
I got a guy.
You got a guy?
I got a guy.
We need your guy. We need to be
I got a
putting
guy.
his website.
Well, if you have a guy, maybe we could help sell him or, sell his gold or whatever he has. I mean, is this what Mel Fisher? I mean, who are we talking about?
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. He's
Don't
got
worry
a guy.
about it. I got a guy.
You don't want to. You don't want
Joey
to.
Bag of Donuts over here.
I got a guy.
Joey
got a
Bag of
guy.
Donuts, go to guy. All
So
right.
you're
I got a gold guy.
you're hoarding all the gold for yourself.
That's
See.
what I heard.
I'm Italian. Half of them are gold chains. But I got the Mr. T starter set.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I had not just the one. I had two. I had a rope chain too, and it was like and my friends would always tease me like, "Oh, nice Mr. T starter kit." I was like, you know what, mafangu.
Yeah. That means hello in Greek.
With
All
this
right.
too.
Continuing on, 401k plans allow workers to invest in crypto. So the retirement market is around $22 trillion.
Wow.
And this is, there has been a partnership with Coinbase that will open the doors to the market. So with the record high inflation rates that we are storing, we need a way to store our wealth. And so this gives exposure to the $22 trillion market into crypto. But they are capping the amount that you're allowed to invest at 5%. But there has been, a call from younger investors and people that want exposure into the crypto market.
It makes sense. The younger kids, that's what they know. They don't really know stocks and bonds. They're buying.
And not for nothing, we all know how 401k works. Usually your employer will match what you give. So you're given 3 or up to 5% of every paycheck. Well, why wouldn't you want to choose where that 3 or 4 or 5% that you're electing to go from your paycheck tax-free into your 401k, which is really just an archaic tax law. It's not really good investment vehicle, much like a life insurance or some kind of annuity or something. There's other ways to do it, IRAs and other things.
There was a scam from the banks, basically, to get you to trust the banks and to get employment loyalty. Right. It was, all a play
and
from
a toaster.
The banks.
Yeah, and so the tax law is archaic. But people still use it because they feel like, again, employers are like, well, we incentivize with a matching, retirement fund, but it's like it's just so bad.
And Bitcoin has an annual return rate of 200% a year. Like, what other asset offers that?
Not money, not many,
not the market, unless not even Amazon, where you're getting 200. Maybe 200% in 20 years, maybe 300%. Yeah. But whatever it is, it wasn't gradual, and just like Apple and just like, a lot of the other blue chips, they have their period of, really, really climbing, but then they plateau, and they're going to stay plateaued, and hopefully, they're always making their investors happy, or, we know investors, a bad jobs report or bad, any kind of earnings report, they're like, okay, we're dumping it. And so it's really hard to maintain that loyalty unless it's trapped in some kind of intangible piece of whatever, like a 401k, because you can't take it out without a huge penalty.
Yes.
So you're forced to hold on to those blue chips and some of those other legacy stocks.
Yeah. Well, I think that it's just great for the space because it legitimizes crypto. It opens the market up for so many more people. It makes it real.
So let's backtrack because, again, pre-show we had a great discussion. I guess we should record our pre-show. But we were talking about how, some of the first things that I heard about, Bitcoin and other things were, well, it's how the dark web buys, all these illicit drugs and stuff on the Silk Road, right? And the Silk Road is this really horrible thing that, only like dark web users go to, and they don't want to be identified, so they use, a crypto or, some other kind of sinister currency to buy all these illicit things. So it's been a turnoff. So it's just been, I think we're finally turning the market where it's like everybody's been like, no, stay away from Bitcoin. You'll never make any money. It's a scam. It's a scam. Like I've heard over and over again. Yeah. Except this scam went from 10 cents in 2011 to $40,000. It's a scam for only so long until people are like, it's not a scam. Like, this is real. And even I gave it a try. I bought Ethereum at like, I think $100 or $200. It doubled in like 3 weeks. This is like circa 17, 18. And I'm not being greedy, and I sold it. I'm like, okay, crypto is real. I literally just doubled my money in 3 weeks. Had I kept it, it'd be worth, a nice big chunk of Ethereum.
And one thing that I've been reading, I'm the novice in this room, but the one thing that I did look at is a lot of these coins are backed up by the dollar. Did you know that?
How much is that true?
It's what I've been reading.
Well,
backed up by a dollar?
The ones that are trying to be legitimate, the ones that are trying to be legitimate are backed up by a U.S. dollar.
Because we discussed stablecoin last episode.
Yes.
Right. And
I'm just throwing that out there. Yeah. I did a little reading.
Yeah.
Pictures.
I just don't know how much of that is true.
Jennifer?
Well, it depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking, a lot of the stable coins are supposed to be pegged 1-to-1 to the dollar. I wouldn't necessarily say backed, because if anything, like the crypto market, it aims to be decentralized. We're trying to break away from the traditional financial system and onto the decentralized financial system, where we can be our own bank, where we don't have to be pegged to the monetary policy and the inflation rates that are built in.
Right.
So there may be some coins that are pegged to the dollar. I'm not sure that you have to.
All I'm saying is maybe that would make people feel a little bit more comfortable knowing that it has that type of backing, so that it
I feel more comfortable knowing that it's not.
Oh, I understand that now. Oh, absolutely.
Because
today. Sure.
If my Bitcoin goes down when the U.S. dollar goes down,
no, I agree.
That's not. You're not hedging against anything.
Right.
You're just buying another name for a dollar. Right?
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm hip on that. Hip on that.
So no, I like that it's decentralized, and I like that it's not attached to a euro or to a franc.
Then why'd they write that?
Or anything
Then why'd they
weird.
write that? Why'd these people write that?
Well, they're trying to.
I mean, you got to know your sources. Some people are just guessing.
No, I read it. It was a good source.
Okay.
I Googleized it.
You Googleized Joey Bag of Donuts.
All right, so
you're going to hear a lot of Joeyisms on the show, folks. That's one of them.
Bottom line, 401k investing in crypto, adding crypto to their plans.
Right.
Bullish, bullish, bullish. It's a simple supply and demand. As more people get into the market with the fixed supply that crypto offers, more and more people will want it. Fixed supply, demand goes up. There's only one way for the price to go over time.
Precisely. And with Bitcoin, there's a limited amount. Other coins like Doge don't really have a limit. It's just, buy as much as you like. Maybe it'll go up, maybe it'll go down. But there's not a finite amount. Like with Bitcoin, there's a finite amount. So there will always be a big demand and a little security in that as well, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. There is an infinite amount. There's 21 million Bitcoin that will ever be in circulation, and those, they have a time schedule of release. So every 4 years, there's what's called a halving.
Right.
And the amount that is released per day is cut in half.
Right.
And the reward is also cut in half. So we'll get into this the next show when we talk about Bitcoin. Today we're going to talk about something else. We're going to talk about blockchain.
Okay.
But when we get into, before we can understand Bitcoin, the Bitcoin protocol, and how it operates, we have to understand how the blockchain works.
So, what is blockchain?
Yeah. Did I miss my cue?
No. Was that your question of the week?
What was my question of the day, Jesse?
Well, no, it's not even time for that segment yet.
So then you just asked the question: what is a blockchain?
Well,
who is a blockchain?
I'm gonna have some theme music. Let me see if I can cue up some theme music for the segment. And now it's time for Joey's question of the week.
Okay, well, I'm going to repeat what Jesse said, because in case people were sneezing or weren't paying attention at that point, we'll just ask, what is blockchain? Everybody's asking, what's blockchain? So what the hell is it?
All right. Well, blockchain is one of those words that can confuse even the smartest investor. So I'm going to explain how blockchain works.
Yes.
Oh, I can't wait.
So blockchain is a decentralized public ledger or a record of data that all users can see. So it's decentralized. Decentralization is the process where you spread power throughout. So no one single entity or authority has power. So there's no government. There's no one single person that's in control. So decentralization is distributing the network throughout multiple sources, and there's no one single point of failure. So blockchain is a chain of blocks that hold information. So you can think of the blockchain as like a spiral notebook. So each page is chained together like by the spirals of the notebook, and each line, so each line would represent like an entry of data. So once the page or block is filled with data, you move to the next page that's like chained together by the spiral.
Right.
So each block contains information from the previous block. So the information like the sender, the receiver, the amount, and the hash. Okay, so the hash, you can compare it to like a fingerprint or signature. So if there are any changes that occur inside of the block, then the hash or the fingerprint will change, and it will break the chain in an obvious way. So basically every entry of data that's in one block is chained to the next block. And then the next block has all of the information from the previous block. And the next block, and so on and so forth. And this goes all the way back to the Genesis block, to the first block. So the process, hashing is a one-way process. So when you give a value, a hash value, you can't turn it back to the output data. So each line of the notebook represents a transaction. Once the line on the page fills, that would be considered a block. So every 10 minutes, there are the block is updated. So it's not necessarily that like the whole page fills up. It's more every 10 minutes that it's verified. So a new block is then added to the blockchain. So everybody has their own copy of the blockchain or the notebook, so everybody can access it.
I'm gonna have to mute Joey's mic. He's like, I guess it's like so exciting. Tell me more.
I have no clue.
So are you listening, Joey?
I am listening. All
so
I know
everybody has their own. Everybody can have access. I mean, you don't have to download the whole entire blockchain, but anybody can access the entire blockchain. So you can go all the way back to the beginning Genesis block and see every transaction that's happened. So it's completely transparent.
Now, who can access this? I mean,
Good question.
Is there like a blockchain like ledger that's publicly available?
Yes, it's not in a book; it's online.
Right.
So yes, anybody can download the blockchain.
And then it sounds like it's a lot of data, so they probably need more than just a home computer or
yes. So
laptop.
you can download. You can download the full blockchain, or you can download a light version.
Right.
But I mean, if you're just doing like regular day-to-day transactions, there's no need to do that unless you are actually trying to be a miner and run your own node to verify transactions. Then you would want to participate in downloading the blockchain.
And I imagine it just looks like the Matrix, just like a bunch of numbers and
that's all I see in my head.
Like binary zeros and ones, just all like all over the place.
All right, so say Jesse sends 1 Bitcoin to Joey. When the transaction is processed by the blockchain, then the block is updated. So then Jesse's balance is docked a Bitcoin, and Joey's credited 1. So it's just a ledger of transactions that pluses and minuses.
So,
but it occurs on multiple machines around the world. So if one ever gets like zapped, hacked, or whatever, then there's redundancy all around the globe on other servers.
And so once you verify a transaction, once a transaction is verified and your block gets added onto the blockchain, then you get, the miners or the nodes get rewarded.
Right.
So there is an incentive to be honest to the network, because if you try to maliciously, alter or try to credit yourself back more Bitcoin than you should have, then the whole entire network would reject it and your block will not be added. So it's that's why you would need a 51% attack if you're trying to attack the network. But it incentivizes everybody in the network to be honest. So it is peace.
Because it's like policing itself, essentially.
So
heavy breather over there.
Satoshi created the Bitcoin network.
No, I'm just going to sit back. I'm going to listen because if I interject, I'm just going to...
No, you interject.
You lost me. I'm just lost. That's all. It's just a little complicated. All I know is J-Lo from the block.
J-Lo from the block. So
all right. So basically, so this is your notebook here. So all the lines are where you can fill in the transactions. Okay.
So if I bought a coin, right? I buy a coin.
Yeah.
So it automatically gets. It's like the old days. You open up the ledger book and says, Joey bought a kern.
It happens in every bank. Yes, there's a ledger.
Okay, so there's the ledger. So I just bought a check. I
Right.
just bought one. So it's sitting in this ledger in 30 countries, as you just said, right?
all over the world.
All over the world. I'm worldwide now.
Many instances.
I have a coin passport. I'm all over the world.
Right.
So it's saying that I own one coin,
Yeah.
a share, not a full, just a full coin, or am I buying a share? Is it
Any
is it any transaction?
Yeah.
Whether I buy, okay.
Ethereum, Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Well, because remember, Bitcoin is divisible by 100 millionths of a Satoshi.
That's right. I read that.
Yes. So one coin can be divided 100 million times. So
Divided
yeah, I
by
mean,
8.
if Jesse sends you an entire Bitcoin, then he's a really good friend.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
If he did that, then we're doing really well.
No kidding. And I better have at least 100 more if I'm giving you one.
Okay. So that simplifies it. That simplifies it. That it's just really just a recording.
It's a recording.
It's just a recording of the transaction.
Precisely. But it happens in redundancy on a massive scale. So there's that instance that happens everywhere.
So let's go back a quick question now.
Yeah.
We said that Bitcoin and the whole idea of cryptocurrency is, in a sense, to be, under the radar. We'll use, right?
Ambiguous.
Ambiguous. All right, that's a big word. I went to a school with a PS in front of it. All right.
Yeah.
So you want to be anonymous or ambiguous in your trades, so nobody really knows what you're doing. But you just said that they can go in through this ledger and see that you've done this. So somebody
They're going to see your number.
my number.
We're all in your wallet. We're all
Is that the wallet?
assigned
Is
a
that what they
code.
call the key as well?
That would be your public
Similar,
key.
yeah.
Public key.
So your public key is your public address.
Right.
It'd be similar to being like an email address. And then your private key is your password. So your password or your private key is what you want to keep private.
Right.
Your public key is where anybody can send or you can send or receive.
And how do we get a key? Like
You're assigned one when you sign up
with a wallet.
Yeah.
Yes.
I haven't signed up with a wallet.
Oh, we got to get you a wallet.
You do though.
I do.
Did you say you had Coinbase?
Yeah.
Oh, you're buying
Okay.
Cardano.
Right. Oh, let's tell the world. I thought this was going to be private. What I'm buying.
There's nothing private. We're going to share with everybody because listen, if you're successful or if you fail, this is edutainment.
Edutainment.
We want to let them know the best ways.
Right.
That
No, I get it.
We found.
I get it. So the key is in there, and that's where people have lost that key, and they can't recover,
or the passwords.
or the password.
The passwords to log into your account. That's what's been lost.
Yeah.
And we hear stories where people have abandoned over $120 million worth of Bitcoin.
They did a whole episode in Big Bang Theory about that.
Because
So the moral of the story
Yes.
is you want to protect those passwords. You want to write down your recovery phrase, have a backup plan, because if you lose your private key, then there's no reset password or nobody to call. So
Right.
you're in charge of your funds. You are your own bank. You have to take responsibility,
Amen.
I got you. I'm screwed.
which is it's super powerful.
Yeah. Or again, there's cold wallets.
Right.
And now, and I'll maybe share the link later, but they actually make a cold wallet that looks like a coin.
Oh.
And they're
Ooh,
starting to
fancy.
launch. Well, I shared the link with you guys.
Oh, that was that.
Yes.
Okay.
So, because before it's just been like it looks like a flash drive.
Right.
And they're sexy ones. They're like
Yeah.
$100 and they're very sexy and sleek and it's like you put it in your pocket and nobody knows. But it's got all of your data there. So if you don't have a backup as a cold wallet and it's still in your a hot wallet like a Coinbase app or
Right.
something else, then like I said, the inevitable man where you forget your passcodes and you don't know how where those passwords went to, and there's no instance of you ever having that account. So you always want to kind of back up, especially if you're playing with more than $100, $500, anything that you don't want to lose. You should always back up. But
Wow.
the blockchain. I mean, I hope for the viewers because that was some feedback we got from the first episode. Was hey, tell us more. Break it down to the simple.
To help everybody too. We'll be posting these definitions on our Facebook page, CryptoWave
podcast. Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll have definitions on there, and then you could always Googleize it as well. So.
Googleize. You make it sound like googly eyes. Like,
Yeah, it is googly eyes. Googly.
You're googly. What else did you learn over the weekend? I feel like you're holding back.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me.
There was a Robert Barnes, a freedom of speech attorney, who was there, and they have done a group funding. So they raised $25,000, and then George Gammon, the host of Rebel Capitalist podcast, he matched all the funds that were raised, and they are suing the Fed. So hashtag end the Fed. So, they're auditing the Fed because the Fed has never been audited.
About time.
Whether
it's private.
Yeah.
It's not a public service, guys.
No, I know that.
It's a private entity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've never been audited, and whether it goes anywhere or not, at least it will bring awareness and maybe open some people's eyes to.
Ron Paul was always an advocate for end the Fed or audit the Fed.
Yes.
Hashtag audit the Fed, hashtag end the Fed, because it doesn't serve anybody. It's not a federal institution. It's a private institution, and they control
all the money.
Borrowing and everything else, and they print the money, and it's like, well, do we have enough money? And anyway, it's just like, I don't know if there's enough commerce or to always think like, the more we print, the less the dollar I have, and that me and you are earning every day, it goes down the more they print. But they keep on printing because, again, when spending goes out of control and we have deficits and all kinds of things that a lot of people are fighting against, like we cannot. We just spent $9 trillion last year.
Imagine that number, $9 trillion.
$9 trillion. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, they throw it around so much. Maybe that's just no. That is like at a percentage, like not a fraction of a percent. That's a percentage of the whole world's like GDP.
I believe it's like 35% of all money that's ever been printed has been in the past 12 months.
And then you want to know where it went.
That's scary.
And you want to know where it all went to. Shrimp on a.
We'll never know. We'll never know.
Shrimp, when they do the testing of a shrimp on a treadmill.
Yeah.
That's where your money's going.
So where was this event at? And is there a follow-up event if somebody's interested in going?
Yeah, the event was held in Miami. It was downtown Miami area.
Nice.
And they are hosting a follow-up event in January actually.
So 22?
2021. No, 22.
2022.
I was going to say,
yes.
We got to rewind.
January, and it's going to be held in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh.
So if you want to find it, you can visit.
Well, we have to post a link in the description or in the comments.
You can find Rebel Capitalist Live. They have a Facebook. They have a YouTube channel. They'll have information up. Yes.
Very cool.
So it was very informative.
Wow.
I met.
Would you go again?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Well, maybe next time. Share the pictures, and we could put it up here on the broadcast.
Yes, it was great. And because it was such a small, intimate event with like-minded people with the same mindset, 500.
Oh, that's
intimate.
That's
it
intimate.
was, yes. And there were scheduled cocktail hours and scheduled dinners and everything. So we really got to just have conversations and really get to know these people. But people came from all over the country to this event, and it was nice just to talk with people who are like-minded and have the same views.
Well, I do like that. Robert is a little less polished. And even though he's written many books, and a lot of them are what they think like as far as like fundamental or learning or self-help, but then these guys also let loose and they're approachable.
It's
and
part of their shtick.
Yeah.
Robert Kiyosaki, he was having a good time.
Yeah.
And I met his wife, Kim Kiyosaki. I also read her book, Rich Woman, so I got to speak with her.
Awesome.
And then Millennial Money, Alex from Millennial Money was also there. So it was cool to see the people that I follow regularly.
Right.
to get to meet them, and they're all just regular people, and they're
we'll
trying to spread the word.
We'll have to put their links in the description of this episode as well.
Yes, absolutely.
We're mentioning them, so we might as well give them a little credit, and
we can learn something. Other people can learn. And
yeah, because as our episodes continue, we're going to bring the current state of crypto, but we also want to be, again, a little bit of education. So we're not going to just dumb you down with current events and use a jargon without explaining like what we're talking about and just things that are just over your head. Because if everybody's using advanced terminology, anybody who's looking from the outside in going, okay, what's my first step, and what are these definitions and so on. So again, I think edutainment is the mission of the crypto wave, and because it's coming fast, and it looks like it's going to be nonstop.
The crypto wave is coming fast, and you don't want to be wiped out.
Oh,
I like that.
Nice! That was slick.
I think she's becoming a little hostess.
Yeah, she's getting
it. Just took one episode.
Wow! Wow!
Now it's like,
wow!
Yeah,
it's when we get the shush.
When
she starts to shush, we're in trouble.
Exactly. And hopefully her hair looks more auburn and less darker
I'm
glad you're not drinking out of a green Solo cup.
No, God forbid.
Your mom would be happy.
Yes, because she said that's not a nice looking glass.
But that's a lot of vodka on ice.
Well, if you sit here, you need to lick it up too.
Well, knowing that your friends and family are watching you,
we need the viewers.
Yeah, right.
Subscribe and like us, please.
So anything further? So AMP is on Coinbase. So I'm just sharing a little bit about my week since we met last.
Since anybody asked,
I earned 3 AMP.
Nice.
For just watching the videos. And by the way, Coinbase for the longest time, EOS, Tezos, like all these things. Like I've been staking Tezos for like the longest time, even though it's like 0.00000 of a whatever. So it's not like I'm making huge gains, but it's just sitting there and it's earning.
Yeah.
And,
yes, learn and earn on Coinbase.
Yes, learn and earn. So
a great way to get into different cryptos for free.
Exactly. So anyway, that's my plug for Coinbase, and now I'm an AMP holder, man.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. I bought on Sunday, XLT.
Is it XLT or XRP?
No, XLM.
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 Okay.
I'm dyslexic.
Yes, Stellar's XLM, similar to XRP, aims to be.
I didn't buy Stella.
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
I bought.
Must be a different.
Yeah, I bought
alphabetical combination.
Tether.
Oh, Tezos.
Tezos.
Okay.
Yeah, Tezos. XTZ.
XTZ?
XTZ.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't even know what I'm buying. And that's down.
Well, when they're only 50 cents, for a token.
I let it ride.
The
whole $25.
Just get in there. Spend $25. I mean, honestly, you got to be in it to win it.
Yeah.
And we had this conversation last episode. You could be spending on lottery. You could be spending it on so many like other things that
going out to dinner
may not serve you at all ever. Mm-hmm. But you start today. It's just like, I can't think of how many people are like, oh, I'm glad my grandfather brought AT&T back in the 50s or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
And now it's like worth they're buying mansions today, cashing out. So it's just like it's just one of those things. Like you may never know, but is it worth a gamble? Absolutely. If we all knew what we know today about Bitcoin, we would have all been mining. I had friends telling me, oh, you should use that laptop to mine. I was like, no, man, I've already done a lot of peer-to-peer. I was doing a LimeWire and Napster and all those other things. And I was like, and I let my computer just do this. And all I remember is like I would get malware and all kinds of different things. It would slow it down. And then I was like, no, I'm not doing that to my machine. Had I known.
Right.
Had I known, I could have been mining with my damn laptop like 10 years ago. So you never know.
Who knew?
You got to start. You got to start somewhere, and you got to be in it to win. Right. Otherwise, you're just going to be on the sidelines going, oh, I should have, could have.
I Googleized again. I said, give me the top 10. Just give me top 10 currents. So that's what I did. And I was like, okay, I looked at the number. I go, that's kind of cool, those initials. I can remember that. I like the XT part of it. It was cheap. So I said, okay, all right, let's give it a whirl. Are you looking it up?
Oh, yeah.
Tezos?
So it's an open source platform for assets and applications that are backed by a global community of validators, researchers, and builders. So decentralized applications.
So one of our segments that we're going to include is the coin of the week.
Right.
So maybe it could just be Tezos since we brought that up.
Right.
But I think that would be a fun other segment. So Joey's question of the week and a coin of the week. My trade of the week was, again, just watching the videos and getting AMP. So I would recommend that to anybody listening. Just go on Coinbase and watch to earn. I think it's one of the more fun things, because then you also get to become knowledgeable about what these coins do, because they all have a mission.
Right.
You know,
And that's what I found. Yes.
Some are built for speed, some are built for redundancy, some are built for just quicker transactions.
Right. Like I looked up before I even bought. I did some research. And I said, "Oh, that's a platform." I said, "Okay, a platform. That means other things have to be
Built on top of it.
Right.
So, again, taking that, it's just a scam. I'm thinking, well, no, not if it's got to be used for building something. It's a platform. It's to build. So I thought, okay, that's a safe one. I'm not going to risk $25. You know, you know how many pizzas I could have with that
For $25?
Yeah,
At least
maybe one. Maybe slices of pizza. That's like 25 slices. Yeah, but like I said, it's just one more thing to do. And you don't know where it may go, but if everybody's going to be hedging,
and you look at the portfolio, it's $93. All that money, right? It's like, okay, it's $93 at the end of the day.
That's more than mine.
It's not like it's thousands and thousands of dollars. We're sitting here. I bought, but it's just fun. Just put in $20.
No, I've probably traded at least like $2,000, like up and down. I'm certainly not a heavy hitter like Jennifer or some of these other people who do like day trading and everything else. And it's like, I'd love to participate, but I got other things to do with my life than watch.
No, I get it.
Candles. On a screen, like, there's another trend.
And a lot of these kids now, they're doing it late at night. They're doing it in the middle of the night. They're taking their bar mitzvah money, and they're trading. There was an article not just in coins too, but they're now getting involved in stocks too. These kids. There was a whole article in Barron's this week that my father turned me on. He goes, "Oh, these young kids, look, they're all getting into stocks."
The Robin Hood kids. They call them.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? It's. I think it's great. It's
the Friar Tucks.
It's a new.
They're stealing from the rich.
It's new for a lot of people. It's kind of just opened the world of finance up to a lot of these younger people.
I think that's what it is.
And we're coming into an age where you can manage your own funds. You can do a gamble. You can make bets on things, but ultimately it's gonna gain exposure. It's gaining financial knowledge to younger people.
Well, one of the biggest critiques, I think, in the last 30 years has been the decline of financial literacy. Mm-hmm. People are graduating high school without knowing how to budget a checkbook.
I wonder why that is.
It's
the school system.
It's a conspiracy.
Let's not even go down that path.
Financial education.
I get it.
But let's be honest.
Financial education is not taught in schools.
When people don't know how to manage money, and it's so much easier to talk them into a credit card that's 25%. Right. 25% credit cards wouldn't exist when people know the value of money and know what 25% of everything you spend. I'll just put $500 on it. Yeah, but in 30 days, if you don't pay that balance down, that 500 just became like 600. And then if you don't pay that balance down, it became another 25. And then before you know it, you're like, oh my gosh, that $500 purchase is now $1,000, and now I'm over the credit limit, and I'm being taxed more.
Now they have kiddie credit cards too, little kids.
It's just so dangerous.
Yeah,
yes.
So financial literacy is a big thing, and so this at least gets kids involved. They're entertained by it, and not for nothing. But let's also look at the trends, and this is a reason why I really got perked up about crypto more and more in the last 4-5 years. Is because all these different platforms have their own currency. Twitch,
right?
You buy money, and you gift people, those platform tokens. Facebook has its own token, and all these other things, and you could gift these creators all these different tokens, which means you're taking your USD and putting it into another currency, whether it could only be used in that platform, solely. it's still you're still using your money and buying something that, guess what? It's not a USD that you're gifting. It's I see on TikTok. You could gift flowers and hearts and even like a what do they call it? It's not macrame. It's the Japanese
origami. Origami.
Is that
origami?
And so people are like
origami.
So people are and all these different gifts have like a different value, right? So you buy like 100 tokens for say $1. And then you give a flower for like 3 tokens and origami for 4 tokens and you could choose all these different gifts and the value of each gift to give to the creators, and they love it because they're getting gifted just for building the content, and you're watching them play video games and you're able to support them in their in their career now of playing video games all day. So that's what they do.
It's amazing, these kids that make money just being gamers,
but they're not being gifted real USD. They're being gifted these online. So
it's changing incentives.
It is changing incentives.
So like Brave, for example.
Brave,
So they have
to do that.
Their basic attention token, and they're pretty much like, hey, if you watch this ad, we'll reward you. And crypto.
So Brave is a browser,
right?
I just want to make sure.
I was just gonna throw that out. I knew that one.
Yeah. So I've been recommending Brave for a long time. Not only are because it does have other built-in features, and so it's there. I mean, there's so many ways to kind of get involved in a space, and it's just becoming so much more exciting. But again, when kids are able to gift other kids, a token or buy skins in Fortnite with these built-in tokens in these apps, well, they're already doing the work. They're already exchanging USD for other crypto or other currency, and whether they live on multiple platforms or just a single platform. But I'm watching all this money being spent. I'm hearing these parents spending like $100 a week on their kids' Fortnite, because they got to get the cool, new armor or new helmets or new, they're building these characters.
My day it was a little G.I. Joe and the little green soldiers. That was your toy.
Well, Joey, stop aging yourself.
You went to Woolworths or Monkey in the Can.
So it's and I'm so glad. And then you have like the guys on Reddit who are also doing fun things. I mean, shorten or what they're doing is when the stock is being squeezed or whatever, they're able to like combat the squeeze or whatever by buying into it. Anyway, they're doing crazy things against hedge fund operators who normally will take a failing thing, they'll bet against it, but then these guys will go and keep the prices high, so the hedgers are losing and they're trying to short it. And then anyway, so there's all these there's all the terminology, squeezing and shorting and hedging, and so these kids are learning finally what Wall Street has been doing for so long.
But here's a question that I have when we have these young kids, 16, 17 years old, and they're out there hedging, they're on crypto and they're night trading, so to speak, and we're going to have this young kids with newfound wealth. If the sharp ones know what they're doing, by the time they're 22, 23, they're millionaires. They don't need to go to work anymore. What happens to our work pool? What happens? I mean, are we becoming? I mean, we've always been lately. Were you a material girl? I mean, that's a whole nother episode.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, because
I get it.
How are they? What are they going to exchange into? A failing dollar that's completely depreciated? Because honestly, I mean, even if they did in 3 years buy, cash out, so to speak, their crypto and exchange it for USD. But if USD has already gone ahead and through inflation devalued to a certain point, they may not get what they thought they would, right, in today's market. So if they hold on, so there's a unique balance going on.
But you understand what I'm saying?
I no, 100%.
So you're making the point right there of why you don't want to cash out. We're ultimately converting to this new financial system.
Right.
So it's kind of a mindset change where you have to stop thinking in terms of dollars and start thinking in terms of you want to cash in to crypto.
Point. Very good point.
So not even going back the other way to take profits.
Exactly. Because you could take profits by trading into another coin, right? And because if you know that Bitcoin may or may not be, spiking, based on trends, and you're like, you know what, I could probably do a lot more with this Bitcoin fraction if I get into a newer emerging token that's being offered at a fraction of a cent today. And so again, you may be making other gains with other coins instead of cashing out and making it available as USD. And there's really there's becoming less and less a need to convert to USD because more and more businesses are accepting Bitcoin. Real estate's already accepting Bitcoin. Amazon. And Tesla, they've all been flirting with taking Bitcoin. And again, when a lot of people have crypto, guess what? There's going to be a lot more retailers that are accepting crypto.
Right.
So we're coming to the 55th minute. I guess we need to kind of close this down. And
so.
You want to summarize what's going on, or maybe just tell people what they could expect next episode?
All right. So next week, we will talk about Bitcoin. So now that we've established how blockchain works, blockchain is the underlying protocol that supports Bitcoin and the Bitcoin network. So we'll go more into depth of how transactions and mining and nodes work for the Bitcoin network.
Right.
Nodes.
Is that going to be the word of the week?
That might be the word of the week. Although
Next
she
week?
sent that to me earlier today, and I looked it up, but we didn't have time to do a slide on nodes. So it was that, a fork, and there's a lot of cool words that
Forks, yeah.
Well, fork you in the node.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. Wouldn't be the first
Fork
time.
you in the node.
Wouldn't be the first time this week somebody told me that.
All right. Well, thanks so much for tuning in, guys.
Bye,
Don't forget
everybody.
to like and subscribe. You can follow us on Facebook, CryptoWave Podcast. You can also follow us on YouTube and Twitter. For more information on how you can get involved in cryptocurrency, please visit me at www.spacecoastcryptoconsulting.com. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.